What's up, everyone, and welcome to Shared Save the Game Media's weekly gaming discussion podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and on today's episode, we are predicting Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Game Showcase. Before we get to that, we're going to talk all about those Steam Deck price increases and what it could mean for the Steam machine. Before we get to all that, got to introduce my co-host, hanging out with me as always, Sam Heaney. How are you, my friend?
That's this weird question, you know.
I knew you were going to say something like that. Yeah,
weird question. I'm doing better than I was last week because I think last week I was just sort of a bit randomly out of sorts. But this week, the heat wave, you know, it's we were talking about it on the Patreon exclusive episode. It's hit. We're still in the throngs of it currently. We're on the few days of allocated summer that we get in the UK a year. It's bad, man. It's real bad.
Yeah, you were saying it's a whopping 85 degrees there. Ooh.
Yeah. Come over here, spend a week here, okay? when it's this kind of weather, I'll shut you up real quick. Okay, as it has everybody else.
We built our buildings without insulation, so all the heat and the cold just goes right through it.
See, but what we didn't consider at the time was capitalism accelerating global warming. That's what we didn't factor in, which we should have really. Damn Shakespeare and people building thatch houses. Yeah, but outside of the heat, I'm doing pretty well. I am looking forward to the upcoming couple of weeks. Lots of exciting things going on in the gaming world. And yeah, I'm feeling quite energetic today, which I don't typically. I have some fits and starts. I do all right. I'm not too bad, for somebody recording in the night.
You're feeling energetic at midnight.
Listen, my sleep schedule is atrocious. You know this. Everybody knows this. But I had an energy drink like an hour and a half ago. It's going well. It's going well. I just wrapped up IGN coverage for Lego Batman. It's great. I'm doing well. How about you?
Awesome. I'm doing well. We had 2 days where it was very humid and hot, around your temperatures that you were telling me about. Now it's more mild. It's about 10 degrees. Got a breeze. It's open the window weather. It's kind of nice. So I'm enjoying that. Other than that, just been having a chill week, playing some games, just relaxing. I'm excited to see what predictions we got and talk about the Steam machine. Of course, I see some people hanging out in chat. I see Silk in it. Nicholas Johnson's here. Thank you to everyone who is hanging out. As always, we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us live. Well, why don't we get through the housekeeping and then we get into the show proper? So if this is Shared Save, our weekly discussion gaming podcast. We are live every Thursday. We're here on youtube.com/Save the Game Media. If you can't catch us live, post every Sunday on your favorite audio platform of choice. While you're over there, please drop us a review. We do greatly appreciate them. If you want to support us even further, get early audio access to this podcast and exclusive bonus shows like my monthly Q&A and our exclusive Shared Save Patreon episode we just recorded a few days ago, where we answered some questions. We went over our current fantasy critic standings. We look forward to June game releases. So that is available now for all patrons. $1 a month gets you all that content. Thank you to our current supporters: Sam Hall, Alpaca Tom, Rick Davis, Silkenet, Dave Harp, David Hotwright, Lillian, Marcus O'Neill, Nikolai at Night, Fabulous Brianna, Black Wyver, David Burdett, Dinglebaum, and Savoy Prime. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. Sam, housekeeping out of the way. So why don't we jump into what have we been playing? And I see we've been playing the same game, so maybe we save that one for last. A nice little transition,
Nice. Yes, we'll do. Yeah, so as I just said, I'm still playing, well, I guess not anymore, playing Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. As of a quarter an hour ago, I finished coverage. I was sort of, what's the saying? It's down to the wire in terms of getting this done before we started recording, because I wanted it to be out of the way by tomorrow, because then I can go into the weekend slightly more relaxed. So I've finished coverage for that. I have 100%ed it. I've platinumed it. Yeah, really like it. Really like it. I think it's, again, sort of like I said it the other week. It's a very different Lego game. Basically, just another Arkham. But I think that having now done all of the auxiliary secondary stuff out in the open world, there's just enough to keep you occupied for a good, 7 to 10 hours, but not so much that it's overwhelming or feels like a chore. So still highly recommend it. Loved it. I don't think it'll be one that I go back to necessarily, because I do typically every so often dabble in older Lego games. I could see myself doing that with this one, but it's not really a collectathon in the same way that the other Lego games are, and I feel like that's the thing that tickles my brain. So we'll see, but still highly, highly recommend it. Something I don't recommend, Kev. Listen, I need to get my platinums close to 400 so that I can maybe make like Wolverine my 400, because I like milestone platinums as something big. I played through Disney Pixar's WALL-E.
Of course you did.
Which is it's specifically the PS2 version of the game. There's various others, including the PSP, but via PlayStation Plus Premium. I think it came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it's been on there a little while.
Yeah, so I finally got around to finishing it, and I did platinum it. Didn't take very long. Took me I think in total maybe 8 hours.
Thought you were gonna say 2 or 3. 8 is way too long for a WALL-E game.
It's fine, it is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's a very basic little platformer, very, very simple levels, and there was some 2-player stuff, but you could just sort of plug in the second controller and just leave it running, not doing anything. If there was a 2-player aspect where you had to sort of actively participate, I'm not going to go to the extent of getting somebody else to play it with me, because that would be embarrassing. Or, God, heaven forbid, which I have done before, trying to control 2 controllers at once.
Like Sakurai during a Smash Bros.
Exactly, that's
presentation.
Right. Yeah. Not as easy to do on a DualSense. Arguably, still not easy to do with any controller, but certainly not with a DualSense. So, put it this way: I'm glad that it's in my back mirror. Okay, I'm not proud of it. I don't, all this slander in the chat. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. I do disgusting things for platinum trophies.
Yeah, you're a sick man.
I am. But speaking of a disgusting thing that also got me a platinum, Kev, segue. I have played through 100% of damn platinums. Directive 8020.
Jesus, man. Oh, hot damn. I did not expect you to plat. Was it a hard I didn't even look at the trophies, to be honest.
See, I think it could have been. I think I just got very, very lucky on my first playthrough, where I managed to save everyone, keep everybody alive the entire time.
Wow.
And I found all but 1 or 2 of the collectibles. And they have the turning point thing. Once you finish the game, you can go back.
Yeah.
And it logs the collectibles that you then retrieve. So pretty smooth. And then there was just a few things that I did look up a guide on which checkpoint to reload to and what dialogue choice to make to get the destinies. But yes, if we want to kick into general thoughts,
yeah, I would genuinely, because I've also rolled credits on Directive 8020. I did not platinum. I didn't get anywhere close to the platinum. I think I got 20% of the trophies or something. Yeah, I would love to know your general thoughts, how you feel about the game overall.
Sure. So to clarify, I'm not necessarily a massive fan of Supermassive. I really, really liked Until Dawn at the time, played it at release. And I have dabbled in the other Dark Pictures since then. But none of them have really hit for me. I found some of them decent to good, but none that really have sort of stuck with me. Like I couldn't tell you any of the characters' names in any of them, which is a sort of a bit of a damning sign. Whereas I can with Until Dawn. I think that's sort of iconic. I think Directive 8020 is, and this is going to sound harsher than I mean it, it's fine. I think visually it's very impressive. Really like the way it looks. I think some of the what shall we say, sort of monster designs, I guess. It's not a surprise that there's monsters in the game. Really cool. I love that kind of almost sort of Geiger, Lovecraftian stuff going on, with the way the ship's affected as well. I liked a fair amount of the characters. I don't think that they're going to be very memorable, but I liked a lot of the interactions that they had and some of their personalities. But ultimately, I think that the narrative kind of just sort of meandered and didn't really go much of anywhere. It kind of felt like it wasn't really doing anything for a number of episodes, and then it sort of turned the dial up and hit the gas really, really fast, and then it ended. And I could have maybe done with slightly better pacing, or maybe even just a few more chapters, to sort of, once it hit the gas, let the momentum carry it a little bit and see what happens there. And the gameplay, I think, is again like a typical Supermassive game. But I mean, I mentioned to you again in the exclusive episode, a lot of vents, you know,
Lots of vents,
and a fair amount of stealth. And the stealth, like, it's serviceable, but really not that great. And I know that that's not really what people play the Supermassive games for, so I'm being fairly lenient in that regard. But still, it's decent. I think if people like these kind of games, Directive 8020 is certainly, in my opinion, one of the better ones. But I still can't say that it's great or that I really love my time with it.
That's interesting because as people who have listened to this podcast for a while know, I always play these games with my wife. We are big fans of Supermassive. Actually, we have played all of them. We've played Until Dawn. I've played it 3 times now, at least. Like, played the core. We played every game they make. I even played the Casting of Frank Stone, right? So, like, I'm no stranger to their game design and these types of choice-based narrative adventures. That being said,
oh dear,
I think I might be a little more negative on this game than you are overall, actually. In terms of the Dark Pictures games, not counting Until Dawn, The Quarry, and the Casting of Frank Stone, this one is probably at the bottom with Little Hope for me.
Okay.
Where I actually think Little Hope has better characters. I don't think the cast in this game is good at all. I think Cernan is fine. Cooper is probably my favorite character in the game. I think she really is the standout. I'm very surprised that they went with Young for the like cover character, where I did not find
just
any
bland.
Bland as all hell. I had no interest in her character whatsoever. I think there is a world where this game comes out and it has a really great narrative. I think they drop the ball somewhere in there. Like, they don't tie everything together. And when the I don't want to spoil it, when the revelations happen, I will say, I think that's the best way to phrase it.
Sure.
It's like, okay, but but now what? Exactly. Yes. That's such a funny and I do feel like the game, I agree with you, pacing issues for sure. The game meanders through the first half of the game. It's only 8 chapters long. The first 4, I would say, are pretty slow going. Then it ramps up for sure, but I do think there's an over reliance on the stealth mechanic, which I think is pretty mediocre, especially because a lot of times it's like, I don't know if the AI was just bugged or bad, or I just didn't understand where I was supposed to go. But like there was one instance where the AI just stood in the middle of the room, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to, like, I have no options of where, like, I'm trapped behind this little thing. I can go in this room off to the side where there's nothing to do. Like I think there's a collectible in there, but otherwise there's nothing to do in there. And I have to get over here, but there's like glass on the floor that'll alert him. So I'm like, where do I move in this situation? Ultimately, I ended up I was like, I'm gonna send it, and like you get like a stun, right? If you get caught once, you get stunned. I'm like, I'm gonna send it, get caught, stun them, and hopefully it can make. And then I get to the door, and the door didn't open, and I don't understand because it wasn't red, like it didn't tell me to power it up. It was blue, so I haven't the slightest idea what I did wrong in that situation. Well, I mean, probably attacking the monster, but like, why couldn't I get in the door? Right.
Sure.
I didn't get everyone through. We had two survivors. Well, I'm gonna say two. If you know, you know. I'm gonna say two.
Okay.
I'm gonna say two. Really thought we had something else. Yeah. We apparently got the good, one of the good endings though. I think the way the game is like, how's it framed? How's it like? There's a lot of weird cutscenes in this game, I think, where it's like, why is that character, especially towards the end, it's like, why is that character in this situation at the moment? Why aren't they over there where I last saw them? Yeah. And I don't want to, obviously, don't want to spoil things. So just that kind of thinking influences some of my decisions where I'm like, there's no reason for that character to be there. So I'm going to make a decision based on that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought the characters were a little bland. Some of the voice acting is really bad, really stiff. Especially Mitchell, bad, awful character. Just really, really bad character. Yeah, I mean, some of the deaths happen off screen, which I think is always lame. Like when you're playing a horror game, I want to see the deaths happen on screen. Overall, it's fine in the grand scheme of like their overall work. It's probably like, it's still near the bottom, but it's better than the casting of Frank Stone, maybe tied with Little Hope. So like it's near there, but yeah, it wasn't my favorite Dark Pictures game. And I think it has to do, and I don't know how you feel, but like I love horror movies. I love sci-fi. I don't really love sci-fi horror movies.
Interesting.
Like I think Alien is it's a good movie to watch, but I don't watch it for horror elements. Like there's no part of me that watches like the Alien franchise and is ever scared. And I've watched a ton of them. Sure. I just watch them for entertainment. Meanwhile, like, I don't know, like there's something about like serial killers like all that stuff. Like there can be scary, like some of that can actually scare you. I have never once been scared of an alien life form.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting as well, because I think that, and I think your opinion overall is probably more important in this scenario than mine, because you are so well versed in the Supermassive verse and love a lot of the games. But you bring up sci-fi, horror, and film. I think something that also is probably working against Directive 8020 is that there are like direct comparisons to be drawn, because it basically, like, if you've watched the trailers, you sort of know it is basically like The Thing. It's like, that's what this game is.
Yeah, it's very The Thing inspired, but with some Alien thrown in there, and even some Project Hail Mary, if we want to be honest.
Sure. But yeah, like I think that is also probably not helping it, because it is so clearly, like, obviously they would frame it as like it's a homage to those titles. But I think it is sort of just like, in a lot of cases, directly ripping from those things, and it's not as good as those things.
Yeah.
Whereas I think something that maybe is going in the favor of a number of the other Dark Pictures games is that, yes, they have probably like things that you could tangentially connect to it in the horror space, or pulling on myths or fables or very popular, famous monsters or creatures. But there isn't like a one-to-one comparison. There's always like a bit of a unique spin on it, even if it is playing into the cliches and stereotypes, which is part of the charm. So I think that is something that also probably rubbed me the wrong way, because the other projects that it's aping asks far more interesting questions, poses far more interesting scenarios. And I think, to your point, which I agree with, leans, at least attempts to lean more into the horror, even if, like you say, you aren't necessarily scared by sci-fi horror. Whereas I don't think there was any point at all in Directive 8020 where I was the least bit even unsettled. Not scared is like far gone.
Yes.
But like even slightly disturbed or unsettled, I'm like, I again, it sounds worse than I probably mean it, but I kind of just felt nothing.
Yeah, it was. I never asked my wife until we're at the end. I'm like, so what'd you think of the game? And she's like, I liked it, but it was very, not as good as the other ones, like not as interesting. And we both came to the conclusion we think it's the sci-fi horror that's just not doing it. Because I do feel like people are probably, oh my God, why are they talking about Dark Pictures so much, right? I do feel like the first season was a lot more original in their storytelling. Sure. I don't like the concepts may have been inspired by other things, but the games and those other things, like vampires in Iraq, that's an original concept, right? Like that is unique. I am hoping. Did you watch the? No spoilers, but like, did you watch? They always include a teaser trailer. You watched the teaser trailer, so. The titles
for promising.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a few dates in there. There's a 2028, 2029. So they're seemingly a few years away from their next title, which I don't know how to feel about, because this one also was in development longer than their other games. And I think it's worse than the other games, unfortunately. The season 2 titles have been leaked. We know the titles of the next games. And we know kind of so the titles have been leaked, and we know kind of what the concepts are about them, because some of the Easter eggs from like season 1 tie into like what the season 2 will be. And I can tell you offline. I won't spoil that for people interested, but there's a lot of lore going on here. So yeah, overall it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I will wrap up what we're playing, because I also beat another game this week, and that is Bubsy 40, everyone. It took me 3.5, 4 hours to roll credits. I just played through it. I collected almost everything. There's a few things I didn't get just naturally playing, and I could go back for them, but it's one of those things where the achievements have speed running obstacles, and the times are way quicker than I went through these levels, which I'm sure I could do it a lot quicker, but I don't think the game controls well enough for me to be like, I want to speed run this game, right? Like I want to go through and really invest time in this. So if I'm not going to 100% it, I'm not going to collect everything.
Yeah.
I've never played a Bubsy game. Pretty decent. I think this is a very competent, fun 3D platformer. Obviously, Bubsy's a cat, so your collectibles are yarn balls. You have 150 to collect. And then you can also collect blueprints in each level, which will unlock new moves for Bubsy. I don't really understand the point of this mechanic, because you don't even need to use any of them. Like the one I use the most, and this isn't even like a in-game platform move. It's, tell me where a collectible is. You can hit a button. He like sniffs. He's like, that way. And I'm like, all right, I'm going over there. But there's still like, you can jump higher. You can do a charge jump. You can do these, like you can run a little when you go off an edge. So you like kind of have a moment to save yourself, right? Like there's weird little things. I don't think any of them are necessary. You can unlock costumes for him. There's one where he turns into Sonic the Hedgehog and it blurs out his genital area, which I'm like, damn, Bubsy, what's going on here? Yeah. He's naked. He's naked, so they blur it out. They have a few all right costumes that you can use your yarn balls on. I think the platforming can be a little floaty at times. You do have some good combination of like you can double jump and you can like hover, and then you have a leap because you're a cat, so you can pounce on things. He can do wall climbs. He can hold on there for a little bit because again he's a cat, so he'll cling to walls. There's only 3 worlds, so it's quite short game, 15 levels, and 3 of those are boss fights. So if you're going into this, just know that if you're not into speed running, there's not much in terms of like replayability here, I think, just because it is a very short game. But that being said, I think it only $20 or so. So I felt what I paid for, which was less than that, was well worth my time. I thought Bubsy was funny. I personally don't. I've heard other people say he's annoying. I didn't find that personally. There is a little setting where you can turn down how much he talks. So you can use that if you want. But yeah, overall, I was very pleased with my first Bubsy experience. A very competent platformer.
The way you said first there disturbed me greatly. Suggesting that there will be more, which of course we can't allow.
There will be. I don't know where I saw this, but I'm pretty sure they've made this game for almost nothing. Like this needs, I forget the budget I saw reported, but so I think someone was saying like if this sells like 20,000 copies, they probably made more money. And I'm like, that's wild.
I mean, hey, fair play to him. Fair play to him. Listen, I'm happy for you, okay? I'm happy for you. But at the same time, you're not going to indoctrinate me. We're not going to allow this. We can't allow him to return. He's been buried 6 feet under for a long time, and for good reason. And now he's coming back, and he's trying to gaslight everybody into saying, yeah, he's relevant again. He's good. No.
I think we should let him back. Atari, bring back other obscure characters that have been lost to time, you know?
Be careful what you wish for. They're going to do some strange things over there.
Leisure Suit Larry coming back.
Hey, now that I could get on board for.
You would.
Unreal Engine 5, you just imagine. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, Sam. Well, I think we've he probably is a platinum to get, Sam.
Now you're speaking my language.
There's like 17 trophies, dude.
Yeah, like, see, there are many things I will do. Clearly, I just talked about playing Wally, right? I don't know. I don't know if Bubsy is one of them. If Bubsy comes onto PlayStation Plus, maybe you're not gonna lock me in here, but maybe
when Bubsy comes on to PlayStation Plus,
you think it's a when?
I probably, yeah.
Who am I kidding?
I can't imagine Bubsy 40 is one they're gonna have some high horse about subscription services, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that will do it for our what we're playing. Why don't we jump into our predictions? So we're gonna start with Summer Game Fest. All right. So we do have one topic at the end, our patron topic, but we're going to do our predictions first. We're going to kick it off with Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest obviously is happening just about a week from now, Friday, June 5th. So 8 days. I think it is at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're not going to live react to Summer Game. We're going to live react on Tuesday to the PlayStation State of Play and on Sunday to the Xbox Game Showcase. We're not going to live react to Summer Games Fest. One, because it's a Friday. I got things to do. 2, it's never really worth it. I don't think I've ever watched a Summer Game Fest and been worth it.
Because we're doing this, right? Because we're saying this, we're going to manifest it, and it's going to end up being one of the best shows he's ever done, right? And there's going to be like 5 Megaton announcements, and we missed it. Hey, we're washing ourselves of any consequence. It's not our fault. You know, this is on Jeff.
I can't see it personally, but I hope so. I'm going to be checking in on the announcements, of course. But yeah, it's not what I'm itching for. But we do have predictions. I said let's bring 3 to 5 each for each showcase. If you have more, great. If you're only scraping the barrel, that's fine too. Sam, do you want to kick us off with your first prediction?
Sure. I mean, I did come with more, and I came with
That's
more
fine.
primarily
Yeah.
just in case like we overlapped and we
Mm,
wanted additional ones. That was my thinking. Um, I'm gonna just come out with one that I think is a relatively safe bet here. I'm not going too spicy. Um, at Summer Games Fest, we will see the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Part 3. It will be revealed, and it will be labeled as coming out in early 2027. That will be the window. It won't have a
mm.
specific month. It'll be early next year. And if you want to throw out an extra, like, from what's the thing in basketball from the three
Three pointer.
that's the one, yeah. It's going to be called Final Fantasy VII Returns.
It's kind of lame though, right?
I
Returns.
mean, hey, I don't love it, but they're all about the R's. That sounds weird when I say it like that. But remake, rebirth. I would have said reunion, but obviously that went to
Yeah,
Crisis.
Crisis Core. Yeah, which I think is a mistake. They should have saved that because reunion would have been perfect.
Yeah. I think Returns is probably a pretty nice way. I can't think of many other reads that would because like revival and things like that. It's like that doesn't
Same thing
thematically
as
make
Rebirth.
sense. Yeah, and I mean, I know Todd is saying Revengeance. Like, hey, shout out to Metal Gear Revengeance. Love that.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But like again, like the aggression of like a revenge or something also doesn't thematically make sense. Whereas Returns is kind of like, if you've played the remake and rebirth, it brings to mind of like bringing the timelines back together of healing everything and bringing it all back into one rather than disparate realities and things like that. So I'm going to say Returns. And I'm going to say as well, which is kind of like a no-brainer, it's confirmed to be multi-platform at launch.
I do think it's going to be multi-platform at launch. I don't think Square is going to do the PlayStation exclusivity. I'm not sold on Returns.
Okay.
I want to say they stick with an R, but I feel like Convergence would be cool. Something there'd be some cool names. I didn't put this down. I thought about it. I think it's going to be at the PlayStation State of Play.
Interesting. You don't think that they want to like take a neutral stage considering it's multi-platform? Rebirth was shown at Summer Game Fest.
I get the reimagined. Soken says Dragon Quest 7 reimagined. They're just gonna listen. That is probably the biggest argument. Is if it is multi-platform, they want to show it off at a neutral stage. I can see a world where they still are like, well, PlayStation's still gonna have the marketing rights because that is still going to be our biggest, our biggest selling our base. That's where we want to sell the games. That's where we've been marketing them. But it will be available on everything. So I can see a world where it's at the PlayStation State of Play. It only shows PS5. And then afterwards you get that Google search. Is it coming to Xbox Switch too? And then they have to put out press release and all this, kind of drive traffic.
Yeah. I mean, PlayStation, I guess, even though it's multi-platform, could still have the marketing. That could still make sense depending on what deal that they made way back in the day. I did just think of another reword though that could work. It's already kind of taken and synonymous with something else, but what about redemption?
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. What is it associated with?
Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, Red Dead Redemption. I think that one's fine. I think we can squeeze that one.
But I do think that if you think of the word redemption and games, it's like, it's Red Dead Redemption.
What's the Final Fantasy VII collection called? Oh God. Like all three together when they like do that? Because they've done it for the last two, right?
It's gonna be like Resident Evil, where it's the reverse.
The FF7 reverse collection.
What if it's just reverse? Final Fantasy VII reverse. It's undoing everything Sephiroth has done.
I hope there's some better names than what we're thinking of here.
Rewind.
Nope, we're not. I don't think we're gonna rewind anything.
Rewind.
I don't think it's still a remake. I think, listen, Rebirth has me convinced that like not much is gonna change personally. Like
I was surprised at how it ended. So I'm with you. I'm interested. I'm on board, but I also don't have absolute confidence that they're gonna really swing for it. Todd, you just said Renaissance. You know what? That just clicked in my head. This is it, Kev. Final Fantasy VII Resistance.
You're done.
And a Chimera come out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice pick.
Thank you.
I'm gonna start with one. I think I'm gonna go in highest probability to lowest probability.
Me too,
right?
me too.
All right. I think this one's probably a slam dunk.
Okay.
And this one is pretty vague. All right. I'm gonna leave it open to interpretation. All right.
Okay.
There will be at least 2 remasters / remakes announced at Summer Game Fest. I don't know the franchises. I'm leaving it open, but I think we'll see at least 2 of them on the stage.
Okay. So
I will say Final Fantasy VII doesn't count.
Right.
That one wouldn't count. They showed 3.
So,
I'm talking new.
And in terms of like scale, are these things that people will care about, or are these just sort of like random?
They could be from, let's say, like Lollipop Chainsaw level up.
Okay. So like cult classic to certified banger level.
Yeah, Tata's Army of 2. That'd be a great one. Like Army 2 shows up. I think that's a good remaster or remake.
I can't tell if say psych, please.
You don't like Army of 2? Are you serious right now?
I mean,
I'm sorry. You don't like good games? What's going on here? Army 2 is freaking awesome, man.
It's fine. Yeah, like it's come on now.
Wow. Listen, all us 360 kids were over there having a great time. You were over there. Oh, my PlayStation my network's down for 6 months.
That's right.
Yeah.
Having a whale of a time.
Yeah. Playing Metal Gear Rising or whatever whatever. I don't know what was on the PS3, but
yeah, not much.
I know. Oh yeah, so 2 remasters, remakes. Listen, would I be surprised? Have they done all the Legacy of Kain games yet? They seem to be knocking them out.
They just keep finding them somehow. There's just more to find.
This could also be that infamous remaster collection we hear about. Maybe that's small enough that I wouldn't say it's. I don't want to disrespect Infamous, right? But like, is that the nugget PlayStations? Like Jeff, you can have this one.
Yeah, I mean that is interesting because PlayStation does typically give Jeff something, but because they're going, presumably as all out, or should I say more all out than they usually do prior to Summer Games Fest. I don't know, yeah, because yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. I love it. I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jordan Midler said it, right? And I'm like, he's not the go-to, like this is 100% guaranteed, right? Like,
I mean, I think it's happening. I think it is
really
happening.
Okay.
Something infamous. I think
I'm 50-50 on this though.
But I don't know if it is real that it would be something we officially learn about anytime soon. Unless we really are getting back to an era where we are okay doing like CGI / title card teasers of just like announcing things a few years ahead. We've obviously sort of breached away from that for the most part nowadays, but who knows if these companies want like instant dopamine hits of just like, let's get lots of talking points that people are happy about, even if it is 2 or 3 years away, in the same way that PlayStation just did the God of War trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they want to do that again, then Infamous could show up this summer. But other than that, I think that's a no-go for the time being. But the remasters, I like that. I think we are just entering that time period
That's the
where
era we're in. Yeah.
publishers are getting more and more risk averse, want to get safe bets that are cheaper to make, faster to make, and remasters and remakes are the balm there that would work perfectly.
All right, you want to hit me with your next one while I open my window?
Sure thing. Now I too am going from most likely to least likely. I think that at Summer Games Fest, From Software appear in some capacity. Obviously, they have Dustbloods coming up. That will be at whatever Nintendo does for their next Direct, which is presumably imminent within the next month or so.
For sure.
And therefore won't be at Jeff's show. But I think that whatever comes after Duskbloods will be shown off, or at the very least teased in some capacity. FromSoft has a extensive history with Jeff at this point. They debuted Elden Ring at a Jeff show. That's been featured multiple times. Elden Ring Night Rain was at the Game Awards, I believe. So as was Armored Core 6. So whether it is, I know that there was the sort of like leak or rumor or whatever of like a pirate-esque thing with a ship serving as a hub. If that is real, then I would imagine that's what we see. If that isn't real, then whatever is next, whether it's an Armored Core or a Sekiro sequel or a Bloodborne sequel, or something new entirely, I think that they will be showing up.
I don't think they show up personally.
Okay.
I think that they really want to, like, they should focus on Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, getting that out for Switch 2, and the Dustbloods. And then once that's out, we can tease their next game. Like, if this was the Game Awards, right, I think that would be, Dustbloods has come, it's out. Now let's reveal our next thing. If it's further, like, I don't think it's coming out this year. So what's the point in showing it before the Dustbloods,
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but I also think, and this, I'm kind of just like talking out my ass here, so forgive me, but like I also think there may be something of, because Dustbloods is Switch 2 exclusive. If it was a multi-platform game and they wanted, obviously everybody to be invested in that, then I think that idea of not announcing anything or teasing anything prior to Dustbloods would ring more true to me. But I think because Dustbloods is only on one platform, I feel like FromSoft consistently surprise with how frequently they show up. And obviously they have multiple projects in development at any one given time. So it's not that surprising. But I feel like they might, it doesn't have to be a massive morsel, or like a full gameplay and engine thing. It can be one of them weird cinematic teasers that they do and just splash up a 2027.
What was they did Kingsfield, right? That's them.
Yes.
Bring it to the modern era.
Stranger things have happened. I wouldn't be averse to that. And also, to your point, your prediction, maybe there's something of like, it's, instead of it being a new game that might, to your point, distract away from Dustbloods, maybe it is something of their remastering, like Dark Souls.
Again?
Hey, people, I'm not a fan of it, but people, you cannot tell me that will not sell. People will buy it again. They'll do it.
Yeah, I know they will. I see Ray Chi in the chat says Keighley shows are boring those last 3 years. It seems most of us want to show their games at the Xbox showcase nowadays. We did address the boringness of Keighley shows. Captain Logan, who will be at Summer Games Fest, says their next game is going to be an extraction shooter. What a world that would be.
All jokes aside, I would be interested to see, maybe not that extreme of a swing, but to see FromSoft go into a different genre. And you could say that Armored Core is kind of a shift. Obviously, Armored Core games have existed for a long time, but deviating from what they have done in the recent years. But maybe even that was kind of like in the same area of a Souls-like. I wonder whether they are interested at all in doing something like truly completely different. Because Dustbloods obviously isn't breaking the mold. Like the closest thing that they've done recently is Deracine, which nobody knows about, which was that PlayStation VR game.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking. I've never heard that title in my life.
Yeah, it's like a weird walking sim where you're like going through a Victorian school and there's like fairies flying around and things. And it's just like an interactive story. Not necessarily a first person shooter, but something else from them would be kind of interesting.
I would love for them to break away from the Souls genre.
Yeah,
like, that's just me. But yeah, I don't see it personally. All right, all right. My next one, Crystal Dynamics shows up and shows off another trailer for the Tomb Raider remake, which I forget the name of. They will show off new gameplay, but at the end it'll say, "Hey, it's delayed till 2027."
Yeah. Legacy of Atlantis, I think, is the remake, isn't it?
Yes,
because Catalyst is the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is bang on. I actually almost think I remember seeing something saying that they were confirmed to be at Summer Games Fest.
I haven't seen that.
I could be misremembering. But yeah, I think that it's time. Obviously, it's meant to be currently, as a time of writing, out this year. I did have it in fantasy. I dropped it because there were the rumors of it being delayed and having some trouble. So I think that they will do an all-out gameplay trailer, but to soften the blow of the minor delay into early 2027.
You know what you might have seen? I just Googled it. This is the only thing I see coming up. Is Game Informer put out this looks like a thumbnail, and it's for Summer Game Fest. It says 2026, and they have 3 icons on this thumbnail. One is Wolverine, one is Lara Croft, and the other is Cloud Strife.
Yes, I think that is probably
does Game Informer know something we don't.
I mean, there's no shot that Wolverine is at Summer Game Fest.
No. I assume their Summer Game Fest. They're all next week. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like regardless of any of that, I think that it's time again. As far as we know, it's still coming this year. So if it's not talked about at the PlayStation State of Play or the Xbox Showcase, then it's going to have to be at Summer Game Fest. I don't think that they can wait any longer to talk about it. And if it isn't delayed, then they have to give it a release date like ASAP. So time is ticking, and thus it will be, I'm sure, at the show.
Yeah, and delayed. It started actually like February.
Yeah. I like that.
All right, Sam, hit with your next one.
I'm swerving here, Kev, just a little bit. I'm going like a bit left field because I feel like we've had some, big names, some safe picks. Out of left field, out of nowhere, reminding you it exists. Blue 12 Studio shows up.
What the hell is
that? And they announce, they reveal their follow-up to the hit game Stray.
Oh, I could, if you would give me 40 guesses, I would have never guessed the Stray developer was called that.
Yes, they announced their next game. It is also animal related. I'm not going to go as far as to say it's a cat again, but it's something animal related. It could be a cat again, but I'm not saying it is. And yeah, it's announced. It's revealed, not necessarily like a full-blown gameplay trailer, but in engine. It's been 4 years. When was Stray? Was that 21 or 22?
Oh man, I have no Stray.
That feels 21.
July 19th, 2022. So about 4 years ago.
Yeah. So I feel like it's about time that we hear from them, see what they're cooking up next. I know that they have kind of gone dark on socials, and I don't think they have a website or anything. So So I think there was speculation about whether they're still around, but there's been LinkedIn posts. And
It'd be
I will be,
disappointing if they weren't. Stray, I thought, sold quite well.
yeah, it did, and it was nominated for like Game of the Year in that year. So it's got the pedigree. I think it had the sales, the reception. So I'd be amazed if the studio wasn't around. And assuming they are still around, I think it's about time that they announce the game, and it makes sense that it would be at Jeff's show.
It's certainly a shot in the dark. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
I can't say one way or the other. I would be happy to see them show up, as assuming that the game intrigues me as much as Stray did, which I did like Stray quite a bit. And I know Stray just came out today on Switch too. Funny enough, so
yes.
Yeah. Will Stray 2 be PlayStation timed exclusive again? I think a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly see PlayStation like publishing it, maybe. Well, no, because it's Annapurna, isn't it?
Yes, Annapurna publishes it.
But assuming that they're still with Annapurna for publishing. But PlayStation, I would imagine, considering how well Stray did, probably would be interested in trying to get the marketing. And if it was marketing, it would likely be exclusive or timed. With PC, I'm sure.
Yeah, be a timed exclusive for sure, just because it's on everything now. There's no way they would full exclusive.
I'm not anticipating that, though. I think it would probably be multi-platform.
Take the Stellar Blade approach, right?
Yeah.
All right, my next one, maybe a little obvious. Control Resonant shows up. It was at the Game Awards, right? So they have a history with Jeff. Obviously, Sam Lake, Jeff, love each other. Control Resonant gets a release date, and I'm bookmarking August.
Okay.
We'll be playing Control Resonant in mere months, or 3 months.
You want to put a number on it? You want to put a date?
Ooh, let me look at August. So let me just look at August.
See if you can nail it. I'll make a note. I'm going to write it down. What you say?
August 27th.
Okay. I have it written down. It will be pinned here, and I will check you on it. And if it's wrong, you owe me several $1,000s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't agree to that.
Wow. Yeah. Things tough. Life's hard. I'm sorry.
Listen, if Control isn't here, I think it's at the PlayStation show. But I'm throwing my hat in the ring for Summer Game Fest.
Interesting. Yeah,
they need something. They need something good at this show.
Sure. Yeah, I feel I would be more inclined to believe it's going to be at the State of Play, because they as of late have seemingly got a decent relationship with PlayStation. They've been doing like the dev blog posts and everything, which isn't necessarily indicative of anything in and of itself, but PlayStation, I think, has had a few not exclusive dev diaries on the YouTube channel and stuff for the game. And it was at the last State of Play or the State of Play before, whichever one it was, that showed gameplay off properly for the first time. But yeah, like regardless of whether it's at the State of Play or Summer Game Fest, I think that we see it, and I feel confident about August as well. That feels right in my bones.
Let's go. Yeah, August 27th.
It's going to be the week before.
August 20th. Let's go.
Hey, it just means we get it sooner.
Yeah, I'm fine with either. 13th sounds great to me too.
June 7th. There we go.
Shadow drop, baby.
Yep.
I'll do one more. Yeah, I got one more.
One more. And I want to believe the BioWare shows up.
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
The BioWare shows up, and listen, I'm trying to be realistic with this prediction. They show up, and all they have is an in-engine story teaser. So no gameplay, no anything, and it'll get people mad that it's another thing where it's not showing gameplay and you're not getting a release date or a window or anything. but it's in-engine, representative of what you'd see in an in-game cutscene, and it's a little brief snippet of something that is alluding to what the narrative is going to be. They've done a lot of ARG stuff, obviously, over the past couple of years, suggesting what themes and what factions and races will be in the game. And I feel like maybe just a little bit of a more concrete idea. Nothing massive, maybe like even just 30 seconds, but something, I think, I hope.
Listen, I want to believe with you.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, one of my favorite series ever. Mass Effect 2 is in my top 5 ever, top 3 probably. Just the way they've talked about this game, I feel like it's still years away, dog. I think we're in. Listen. The only thing I will say,
okay,
is maybe we see something because we have 2 Mass Effect like games coming out next year in The Expanse and Exodus. So maybe they feel the need to reassert themselves into the conversation and say, hey, that's cute and all. You know, we're very pleased that you guys like the game so much that you want to make something similar. But this is the OG here, and then show us something. I don't know if they have the pride or the willingness to do that. But you know, I would love to see anything from Mass Effect. Honestly, I think there's a better chance we see more of Exodus and The Expanse than Mass Effect.
Yeah, but hey, you got to dream big sometimes. You got to pie in the sky. That's the one for me.
Ray Chi says, what if Square Enix makes an HD 2D Star Ocean 3 instead of a full 3D remake? I don't know if it was HD 2D. It was definitely a remake. Star Ocean Second Story R, though, that game rocked, Ray Chi. I bought that. The only Star Ocean game I've ever played, and I loved that game. That was a phenomenal game. That kind of had the HD 2D look to it.
You're making up game titles here. You're just saying a bunch of random numbers and letters. It's just nonsense.
No, Star Ocean is one of those series I really need to dive into. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll look on what's on PS Plus.
I'm not pulling your leg here. I legitimately don't even know what Star Ocean is. As like, what genre is it?
Oh, it's an action JRPG.
Oh well.
So Star Ocean is actually people that were making the Tales games that I if I remember correctly, and then they split off and they were like, we're going over here and we're going to make our own action RPG because they wanted to go into a less fantasy, more like sci-fi-esque route. If I remember my history correctly, I wasn't around when they did that, but that's always been told to me, I believe. That's why there's some similarities between the two games. But I quite liked it.
Okay.
Star Ocean 3 is Till the End of Time. I gotta check some more Star Ocean out. I know they had the Divine Force. I think that was on PS Plus at some point. I feel like I played like 5 minutes of it. And I don't know if I was in the right headspace or what, but I didn't go back to it. So maybe I could try that one again. All right, Sam, you ready for my last one?
Do it.
Honestly, probably just as unlikely as Mass Effect showing up.
Okay.
It also has to do with EA.
Oh.
We get our first look at Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
When did we hear about this game being in development? I feel like it was years ago at this. Like we have heard nothing about this. Maybe it was secretly canceled. They did. I feel like it's weird. They confirmed their Black Panther game was canceled, but this one apparently was safe. We will see what happens, but I say now's the time. This would be probably one of the biggest announcements Jeff could have at Summer Game Fest if we saw this. I don't think it's getting dated. I think this is probably still a year or two away, probably. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But yeah, give me Iron Man.
I almost completely forgot that game existed. So I really like that prediction, though. I think again it has been multiple years since we've heard anything or seen anything, and it would make sense that a Marvel game would like to have the sort of main, not necessarily the big splash or like the a closer necessarily to the show, but make a big impact on Jeff's show. That would make sense. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that that's as far-fetched as you suggest. I did also think that, as you were saying, EA, I was like, are you about to say that the next Jedi game got announced?
Let's say it was another one I thought about, but I still think it's a little too soon, personally.
Yeah, same.
It's coming though. Next year, I wouldn't be surprised to see what's his name, Cal Kestis, the actor, show up.
Yeah, and they did it for Survivor. It was if I remember correctly, relatively short announcement to release.
I think so.
To what typically happens. So I could see, like, not that they necessarily hold it this late, but like May, for like May the 4th of next year, they show it off and then it releases in the fall, something like that.
Well, guys, those are our Summer Game Fest predictions. If you have any in the chat or the comments after the fact, let us know. But we're going to transition to the next showcase that we are live reacting to Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Not this Sunday, next Sunday. The Xbox Games Showcase. So we got a few predictions for this as well. Sam, you want to kick us off with your first prediction?
Yeah, I've got a lot of interesting predictions for this one.
Oh boy, Xbox is closing down. They're not making hardware.
No, I'm going to say, I'm going to start with like a spicy one. I'm just going to lock it in. It's not overly spicy, but interesting in terms of the caveats that I'm adding. I have the game that's going to close the show, Kev. The one more thing before the E-Day Direct, obviously, that closes the actual showcase. Arcane's Blade.
God, I hope so.
Arcane's Blade closes the show with a gameplay trailer, a full-blown gameplay trailer. No in-engine nonsense. It's full-on gameplay, and it is announced for next year. Next year was supposedly the internal target for release. We haven't heard that it's hit any development hurdles. I'm sure it obviously has, as every game does, but we haven't heard anything that's sort of really drastic or that's gone wrong. It's not in dev hell as far as we know. And it's been a hot minute since Arcane Leon has put anything out. Obviously Deathloop was their last game. So
yeah, I like Deathloop.
we don't need to go there. But yeah, I think that they come out with a swing. I think that, in many ways, the showcases this year, whether it's the State of Play or Xbox, I think all of them, for different reasons, have something to prove. And I think that if they know what's good for them, they will try and pull out as many stops as they can. So whether it's Asher that has specifically requested that all of the studios or as many studios as possible show up or not, I think that it's time that we see Blade, and I think that we don't just get a cinematic CGI thing. I think it's been long enough since it was announced, and yeah, I think we get gameplay.
I would love to see Blade in action. It was one of the most exciting trailers when it was revealed. I remember popping off. We have a short about it. It's hype. It's still hype to this day. I think it might be too soon. And I don't. It feels weird to say. It feels weird to say.
4 years ago, Kev.
Right. I know, but for some reason, I really struggle to see us getting Blade this generation.
Interesting.
Like maybe it comes to this generation of consoles, but sure. I would not be surprised if Blade is a next gen like Helix PS6 like launch window-esque game.
Yeah, I could buy it either way. Time will tell, but I feel convicted that Blade will be here, and I think that, learning from previous mistakes, which Asher seems to be very intent on doing, ending on Call of Duty the other year, not the move.
The fact that they announced Modern Warfare 4 today and like put out the trailer release date, like I think that's smart because I think they saw the backlash from last year ending with that. So yeah, I don't know whether we see any Call of Duty at the maybe like a Warzone, like some sort. Maybe we just see that trailer again for all we know. But like, I don't think they put an emphasis on it like they did last year.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, Blade would be an awesome like slam dunk, and then that gets you hype and ready to go right into E-Day. So
Luke agrees with me. Blade's next gen launch.
Next gen launch could be next year. So
maybe, yeah. Rachie says maybe some state of decade 3 gameplay. All right, I have one. I'm gonna start again. The ones I think that are probably the most likely to happen, and go to least likely. I'm doubling down, Sam.
Oh no.
Fable. We're obviously going to see Fable. New trailer. Y'all clowning. It's getting delayed. It's not getting delayed. Playground Games just kind of said it's still coming to PS5. Still coming this year. September. They're dating it. It's coming. Screw the haters. I'm doubling down. Put a fork in me. Don't rain on my parade either. All right.
I don't really want to put a fork in you, Kev.
Okay.
But hey, all joking aside, obviously I am like campaigning for the game to be delayed.
For fantasy critic reasons. So I want to make that clear. Not for some hatred of Fable or Playground.
Speak for yourself. No. I like it has to be here. Like,
it's gotta be here.
If it's not, then so yeah, I don't really know what they would show necessarily. Like I'm not super well versed in exactly what we have yet to see from Fable that we don't already know about. Because the one thing that I don't want them to do is, and I feel like they're almost verging on it already, is just showing it too much. I don't think they've crested that hill with Fable just yet, but I do think that if they show something of Fable, which they have to, then it needs to be something different than what we've seen thus far. So whether it is like I don't know, a walkthrough of a mission or something with a boss fight at the end, something like that, where it's not, quick cuts, it's not some lengthy deep dive of lots of different mechanics like in the developer direct. I want to see a mission, not necessarily from start to finish unedited, but what is the loop? How exactly does the open world work? Where does missions lead us? Things like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I imagined it would be like. We pick up with our hero in Albion, and they like are going off on a quest to do something, and then you can have one of those like cuts away. They're further in the mission, fight scenes, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, your next one.
Okay. Let's see. Clockwork Revolution. It shows up once again, as it should, because apparently the game's still coming. And here's the thing, Kev. Here's the thing. You know that they have the little gag that they do at the end of each of the trailers they've done thus far, coming in due time, right? Well, we all know the rule of 3 when it comes to comedy. So they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. There's going to be another Clockwork Revolution trailer at the showcase. And yet again, it's going to end on coming in due time. And all of the fans lose their mind. They're like, for God's sake, why are you showing us again? And it's not got any kind of release date, any kind of window. And then, Kev, the shock happens. Because as we know, Clockwork Revolution is dealing with time distortion and making changes and subverting reality and all of these things. So the coming in due time ticker that shows up at the end, it stays there for a second, but then it starts glitching and warping. It's like, and then it says coming in February 2027.
Hell yeah. I'd be down for that. It's weird because there was speculation that this game was going to come this year somehow. I think that is not happening.
Cards, yeah.
I think that's pretty much off the, unless they're for some reason going to shadow drop Clockwork Revolution. I think that'd be a huge mistake. I think that the hype and the quality that this game seems to have behind it is higher than what we've seen in the past from these kind of AA-esque. Like this looks better than Avowed, if we're like for what about actually turned out to be.
Sure.
So I don't think that February range is out of the realm possibility, but I do hope they support this one, give it some marketing, give it the actual like hype cycle. Could this be that January developer direct game we see at the start of next year? Right. Yeah, I don't know if I agree. Like February is possible just because they have been slotting things in there, but that really depends on what the rest of this year looks like. Does Fable, does Gears make it into this year? If not, one of those I think would take the February slot, and I can see this one kind of getting pushed later in the year. Let it get a little more polish behind it. But I 100% think we see Clockwork Revolution.
Here's the thing, Kev, right? If they want to really blow people's minds in a real bad way, they say it's coming in December 2026.
Listen, I know we liked Indiana Jones, right? Like a lot of people love Indiana Jones, and I loved Indiana Jones the last area, right? Where a great game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think December works. I just don't think December works for especially a new IP like that. I think it would be very overlooked.
So do I. But again, the if there was the scuttlebutt of it maybe hitting this year, maybe it does still hit this year, but it comes after GTA. I don't know.
Todd says Xbox Series S reduced to 300 with 3 months of GPA and the cheapest way to play GTA. Is that your prediction, Todd, or is that breaking news? Let me know. All right. I will go to my next prediction, Sam.
Okay.
I think this one is probably pretty likely, so I'm going to go here.
Okay.
Atlas shows up with Persona 4 Revival. You get a full gameplay reveal, and that is coming the start of next year. Yes, 100%. No. It's coming the start of next year. Apparently, there's some leaked Persona 6 stuff, which indicates that's coming fall 2027. So I think they're going to do what they did last year, 2 years ago, where they had Persona 3 Reload start of the year, Metaphor end of the year. This time it's going to be Persona 4 Revival, Persona 6. So it's happening. Sorry, your fantasy critic. Out of luck. It's not coming this year.
Just got raided in Taiwan, so Korea. So
yeah, they got to rate it for the new trailer they're showing for when the game's coming out next year.
Counterpick it, you coward.
What if I already have?
Hey. Yeah, no, I like that though. Obviously, Atlas has a pretty long-standing, deep connection to Xbox now, so through Sega. So I think that is a lock. Do you think that we see anything else from Atlas? Like, do we see a Persona 6 tease at the very least?
It's certainly possible. Atlas seems to love doing these back-to-back announcements. That I think they've done it the last few years. I know we had the Persona like 3, 4, and 5, the original ones when they all came to Xbox. We saw a Reload along with Metaphor, if I remember correctly. So yeah, they've been doing these announcements, or maybe it was with Tactica. Either way, they tend to do one or two things in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How spicy do I want to get, Kev? How spicy do I want to get? Pretty spicy. Actually, no. I'm going to save the spicy one. I'm going to say maybe a little bit risky, but within the realm of possibility. I think that now is the time. Now is the time for Toys for Bob to show up.
You stole my prediction. It's right here. It's literally, I was saving this one.
Here comes Spyro the Dragon.
Yep.
Whatever it is, whatever it's called, it's high time we see it. Get it officially confirmed. It's been teased enough by them. It's basically an open secret. So see that. I don't know when it's coming. I wouldn't guess this year, although I think that it could be a game that doesn't really need a massive run up. I could see it being a thing where it's announced at the showcase and then comes out like, end of July, August area. I think that is perfectly reasonable, but my gut would suggest that it's probably like first half of next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say my prediction was coming 2027.
Yeah, but my I haven't written it down in my prediction, but I'm going to add the addendum that it looks pretty great.
I'm not. Here's the thing.
Okay. Oh,
You're gonna. I hope it does. I love Toys for Bob.
Ruh-roh.
Crash 4. Amazing game.
Yeah.
Phenomenal game. Some would say one of the best platformers of this generation.
Yeah,
or last generation, whatever we call it. I'm not a Spyro guy. I love Crash. I tried to go back to the Reignited trilogy, and I just got pretty bored. I don't know if Spyro just isn't for me. There are certainly fans of Spyro. Like, there are Spyro fans out there. There are hordes of them. I disagree with Todd. Says no one cares about Spyro. So people certainly care about Spyro, and it's not about. It's really about, can we get new people? Can we get new eyes on Spyro? Can we get the new kids to care about Spyro? Because they're over there eating Astrobot up, right? I mean, a few million, but I do think people, if they see a cute dragon, could care about Spyro again. I think this one is a lock. I don't think this is going to be some AAA huge big budget that like Toys for Bob split off. They're a very small studio. I don't think Xbox is like, oh yeah, we're going to give you $300 million, make us a AAA Spyro game, right? I think this will be very in line, like appropriately budgeted, just a nice family friendly title for all platforms, but put in the Game Pass collection. I do think it'll be a good game, knowing Toys for Bob's quality.
Yeah. Here's the surprise twist though, Kev, that nobody sees coming, right? Is that whatever the Spyro game is, at the end, it's revealed that Spyro actually in his later years turns into the dragon that the Doomslayer rides in during the Dark Ages.
That would certainly be a twist.
Yeah.
People have been begging for those crossovers.
I know. The one you never saw coming.
Well, you stole my prediction.
Sorry.
Spyro has no personality. It's why Skylanders absorb Spyro. Wow.
I mean, I don't disagree. The characters around Spyro have personality, but Spyro is kind of like
Spyro's just like, okay.
He is like a whingy 90s prepubescent teen, like that's pretty much exactly what Spyro is.
So what you're saying is we need a Spyro reboot where he's grown up. He maybe has a beard. He's like an elder dragon now.
Shoulder mounted cannons.
And he's taking his new kid.
That's right.
On an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the game you start playing as the kid.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And then you watch Spyro get his head bashed in by a golf club.
Wow. Didn't Elijah Wood voice Spyro? I don't know. I'm honestly not that up to date with my Spyro knowledge.
That sounds correct. I don't think from the start, but I'm pretty sure he did voice him in at least one of the games.
All right. Where do I want to go? I got two here now. I'm going to go with Kojima. We're seeing Overdose gameplay. Finally. 2027 date. We've been hearing about this game for 4-5 years now at this point, right? We've seen barely anything of it. Kojima is done with Death Stranding 2. I assume that all their focus has been really on OD. I know Fizzant is around, but they've pretty much said Fizzin is like 4 or 5 years away, right? Like, that's not happening anytime soon. So yeah, it's time. Get us a trailer. You've had plenty of time to work on this. All hands are on deck, and I hope it's amazing. I don't know what the gameplay will be because that trailer didn't show anything, but now's the time.
Yeah, I want to know what it is.
So do I.
Like, because something in me, it reads, and I know that this is probably incorrect, but it reads almost as if it's leaning in that kind of supermassive direction, where it's more of like an interactive story where you're making choices than like a PT, like first person survival horror. I could be wrong.
I was kind of leaning into PT.
I think that's true, but OD is it's like segmented up, right? Because it's vignettes by or like with contributions from different directors.
Yeah, like Jordan Peele's doing one.
Yeah, because what's Kojima's one called? It's got a subtitle, hasn't it?
Is it Knock?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So I don't know whether it's like we see a full unveiling or we just see like the next one and a release date. I don't know how many there are. It seems like there are several, but yeah, there's so many unanswered questions. I will likely be in regardless because I love Kojima. But yeah, I want to see what it is. Show me Kojima.
I don't love Kojima, so win me over, Kojima.
Hey, that's fine. He will. I believe in him.
I mean, if it's a horror narrative horror game, I'm probably there for it.
Yeah. Okay, Kev. I mean, I have plenty of others, but my last one. I'm doing it for you, Kev. I'm doing it for you.
No, you're not.
I'm doing it for you.
Such a troll. You're such a troll.
The Rare logo pops.
No, it's not. It's not popping up. In fact,
you just hear.
I believe it's go.
Yeah, I mean, sure. In this gritty reboot, he drops the G.
Wow.
And we don't see anything really, but we get a title card, a splash screen that says, in a similar vein to like the God of War trilogy remakes and all of these things, that because Everwild was cancelled, right, and they're still doing some Sea of Thieves stuff, that within Rare, they are working on something Banjo. Now, whether that is like a full remake of the original or whether it's just like a brand new installment, I don't know. I'm not going to put that label on it, but I'm just going to say that, again, like the easy wins, right? It's something that has been requested by Xbox fans a lot for several years at this point. And if we're buying into the idea that Asher is doing everything she can to claw back fans and win back favor and all these things, the easy wins are the layups that she kind of really needs to pull out the stops for. And this is the year to do it. So even if it is multiple years away, which it would be, then I think that you want to just get it out there and let it be known that for people that love Banjo, Xbox is working on it for you.
I have one question.
Okay.
Am I a joke to you?
Sometimes, Kev. Okay. Sometimes.
All right.
But not right now.
I've predicted this every year for the last 5 years, right? And it's not happening. I've given up. I didn't even write. I thought about writing it down. Didn't even bother.
See, but Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were the devil incarnate. So we know that, and they're out. And our Lord and Savior Asher Sharma is in. And you know, Matt Booty is fully unleashed. He's allowed to do everything he wants now.
Listen, Rare need to do something other than Sea of Thieves.
Precisely.
I do think
the easy win, the layout.
I'm here for it. Listen, if it does happen, you will see me jump for joy on camera or doing our live react. I also think Todd in the chat saying Banjo remakey. Don't hate it. don't hate remakey.
I actually do hate. I actually really do hate that.
No. It fits with the band.
I felt the vomit rising up in my throat there.
That has rare energy. That has platonic energy too with ukulele.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm here for it. I don't hate it. Maybe we get
on the train now. You're on board.
We can get a little more clever. Well, I'm sure maybe find a different word than remake, but like I'm here for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I will always want it, but I just don't. I don't believe. I don't believe.
You're a non-believer, Sean.
What about a Gears of War RTS? I want Gears Tactics too, if we're being honest. I know we're getting Gears E-Day, but Gears Tactics was phenomenal.
All this nonsense. We want Gears Pop 2, okay? That's what we need. We need Gears Pop 2. That got the biggest hit, that biggest splash when that was announced. Mega hit, as we all know. We need it.
I saw Funko Fusion was $2.99 if you want to go play that on PlayStation. Maybe
listen, Kev, I told you I sink to very low depths for platinums, but there are some things that even I will not do. You want to know the amount of times I've looked at the Lord of the Rings Gollum on sale and
no, you haven't. No, you haven't.
I've nearly done it. It's been in my cart before, Kev, and I've rightly and sanely hit the delete button. Okay. Funko Fusion is one of those games.
Yeah, maybe take your payment information off your PlayStation account if you're that close to buying Gollum.
Yeah, I am a liability.
Make it a little harder for you to purchase games, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
All right, I have one more prediction because you took mine. Xbox announces full library integration, including Xbox and Xbox 360 games, coming to PC. I said within the next few months, parentheses, certainly before Project Helix comes out. So that's a big time frame. That's a big time. That's like 18 months I'm giving it, right? Like it's certainly happening.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like they always have something at the showcase that's kind of like tech related or some cool, like, oh, we put Riot games in game, like the weird segments like that, right? Like, just tell me that my library is playable on PC. Hype up Project Helix. It'll be all full. Your whole library fully playable on Project Helix. You're not going to show me Project Helix. It's way too soon to show me a box, show me anything. Like even tell me if Steam or anything. We're not getting any of that information. But you're going to confirm that my entire library will be there.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, to Todd's point. Do you think that there is anything like an extension or a revival of backwards compatibility? Like, do they do anything with that, whether it's the licensed games or not? Do you think they go back further? They delve deeper?
Last we knew, they had exhausted all their resources for backwards compatibility. That was, I think, before they bought Activision and stuff. And then we've seen like Transformers and like some licensed games pop up on the back end time and time again. What are they doing? Maybe they figured something out, but like, I don't expect a giant expansion to backwards compatibility. I'm very much in the camp of what you can play right now. Just make playable next generation, make playable on PC, make it all one platform across the cloud. Like figure it all out. Figure out this full integration, this full transition, this play anywhere, if you will, right? But maybe we saw reports about that disc to digital program. Maybe that's a way around licensing issues. If you were like, hey, if you still have your original Xbox and 360 game, like you can put them in a disk drive on Helix. Certainly can't put them in a disk drive on your PC because there isn't one.
No. Yeah, I like that prediction. I think to your point, they like saying something service related or tech related in their shows. And that would probably check out. I don't really know what else that would be, unless there is something, but then that's not quite as sexy because I was about to say like maybe they figured out the thing with like, as rumored, like bundling in like Netflix and something like that. I think that isn't the play.
If you start talking to me about streaming services on your showcase, I'm gonna be mad. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that's a press release.
And like to your point, it in the lead up to Helix, you're giving yourself a massive runway. They don't have to necessarily commit to a time frame, but they can say that like by the time that our next gen console releases, we will have this fully up and running, outside of closed testing, inside of whatever. And that means that you can jump into the next gen fully ready with all of your library good to go from day one. I think that is, again, talking about optical wins, even if like in the moment, tangibly, that doesn't really give the people watching anything. It is a promise for the future that I think will obviously go down very, very well with the majority of the community. So I would encourage Xbox to do as much of that as possible, not only on the software side, but the firmware and hardware side too. So I agree.
Awesome. Well, that was my last one. If you have any more you want to throw out there, feel free. Otherwise, we can go to our final segment.
I'll just rapid fire the ones I have left because there's not many.
Sure.
So Bethesda show up, but they only have 1 or 2 games total, max. Blade would count as one of those from Arcane. And then the other one is either the Fallout 3 remaster, which is slated for 2027, or, and this is the further afield one, which I don't think they're going to do yet, an in-engine tease of Elder Scrolls.
No, absolutely not.
Again, it depends on how all out they want to go, because if they want to just show a snippet, they could. I wouldn't encourage that because it's still seemingly years out, but they want to just do an update and say, here's something to tide you over, very short, maybe. But that means like Machine Games, id, they're no shows. The only potential caveat there is that Doom the Dark Ages was meant to get DLC. And it's been over a year since that game came out and the DLC hasn't shown up. So assuming that's still a thing, which I think it has to be because it was part of the like deluxe editions, that could be here, but I'm not confident in that, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say, maybe contentious, maybe a hot take, State of Decay 3, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I don't think it's here either.
Yeah, I think they saved that for the Dev Direct at the top of next year. And then the last one, which wasn't really a game necessarily, but just a general sentiment. I'm going to go out on a limb. No console warring here. But I'm going to say that no game in the Xbox showcase is announced as a full Xbox exclusive.
I agree.
I'm going to say that PlayStation 5 and Switch logos might not be shown in the showcase, depending on how they want to message things. But like even for something like E-Day, right? But I would say that after the fact, whether it's through independent reporting or interviews or blog posts on the Xbox Wire, it is confirmed that even if these things aren't day and date, they are eventually launching on PS5, and that would include first party and any third party content that they have there. So they may have some timed exclusives, which I think E-Day could certainly be. Not that I'm betting on that, but there isn't some. Because the scuttlebutt and the like pleading of the community, player voice and whatnot is saying like bring back exclusives.
Yeah, that's a few thousand people compared to 30 million.
Yeah, and like there's no denying that I think that is a wider spread sentiment than 17,000 or whatever. But even then, the realities of the business are still what they are, and I think that they can message it a lot better than they have in the past couple of years, certainly. And I think that they could switch strategies to a staggered release, which they're doing with Horizon 6. They could do with E-Day. They aren't going to be doing with Fable or Halo. And yeah, I think that that's the best that people get. People pining that, they're going to suddenly start throwing out the word exclusive over and over again. Like,
it's not. Yeah. We've been pretty consistent on that since it happened. Do you think, and this is the last thing that we can jump to our Patreon topic, do you think we see other platform logos still? Do you think that they remove those to try to get some sort of, this is Xbox brand, or you think they're going to keep that transparency? Because I personally don't think much is going to change.
I don't think it's going to change, but I think that there is an argument to be made that if they are talking about this like return of Xbox, part of that theoretically on a hypothetical level would be not, in air quotes, promoting other platforms in your showcase. If it's on a neutral ground, if you're showing a game at Summer Game Fest from Xbox, then I think that that's fine. But in an Xbox dedicated event that's about Xbox fans, I think that you can hide the logos because they've done that before where we know the game is going to come to other platforms. It's what PlayStation does all the time, right? They don't show other logos for games that we know are coming to Xbox or Switch. So I think they can just do that because everybody else does that. And we find out after the fact again through other sources that the games are coming. So that's fine by me. I think that it's a worthy trade-off. I would probably even argue that they should do that, but I don't think that they necessarily will.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our Xbox Showcase predictions, everyone. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the comments or the chat below. We'll move into our last topic for the evening. This is our Patreon topic. This comes from patrons over at patreon.com/SavingMedia. $1 a month. You get to write in every single week. If your topic is not selected, it is saved for our exclusive Patreon-only episode where we answer all of your questions. This week's topic comes from Soaking It and Black Wyver. They wrote in kind of a duo thing here. And it's regarding the recent Steam Deck price increase. So before I read their questions, let me just tell you what's going on. So Valve announced this week that all the Steam Deck models are getting price increase. The lowest tier model, the 512 gigabyte OLED Steam Deck, which was previously $549, will now cost $789, a 200 plus price increase. The premium 1 terabyte OLED Steam Deck was previously $649 and will now cost a whopping $949 before tax, which will take it well above $1,000. And that is for years old hardware. So they write in, Soaking It first said, with Steam Deck price hike, Steam Machine is not looking good. What's your new estimate for it? And then Black Wyver write, adding on to this question, do you think the price hike is justified? Isn't it significantly high for some old tech that is adjusted for RAM prices? So Sam, let's start with kind of Black Wyver, then we can transition to the Steam Machine question from Soaking It here. How are we feeling about Steam drastically raising the prices of their old hardware? Is this justified?
I mean, well, first of all, relieved that I bought into the Steam Deck when I did, because I would certainly not be picking one up now. I mean, what do I think about the price? It's like, it's terrible. Again, I think we talked about this. It might have been on the Patreon episode, or it might have been last week. That price hikes are always a bad thing. Like that there is no silver lining to it. Now, obviously, the caveat to that is that there are extringent circumstances surrounding this one. These sort of price hikes that have been happening recently. Some still is in part fueled by greed, but there are a lot of external factors that these companies can't necessarily control or aren't to blame for, should I say. That's where the justified part of it gets a little murky, because I think that on the surface, offloading the cost onto the consumer arguably can never really be justified, especially when we're talking about corporations of this size with this much money. There's Valve could eat the cost theoretically if they were a more sort of altruistic company, and they're not a publicly traded company, so that arguably makes it even worse because they don't have shareholders to answer to. But I am mostly a pragmatist, and I look at it and I say, okay, yeah, real like shitty that this is happening. but we reach a point where it's untenable, and I am sure or at least I would place more faith in Valve holding off for as long as they could than most other companies in the same situation. So we're never going to know that for sure. But I think that it's, to cut a long story short, I don't think it's justified. But I think in the least capitalist corporate defending way possible, I think it's excusable. Which sounds disgusting to say, especially with a price hike of this degree. But they're between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what they could do. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some backlash online, people calling Valve greedy and all these names. I don't view it that way. I very much view this as the bubble we currently live in, especially with AI driving the price of everything up. I think I put out on socials, it's like, electronic consumer goods are going up in price, but think of all the good AI has done for you, like using all your water and data centers, raising your electricity bills and ruining the creative arts or stuff like that, right? Like, I listen, if you like AI, I'm sure I know some people use it in the medical field and it's actually doing some useful things. All right. We're not talking about that. Right. There are use cases. The vast majority are what these tech companies are using it for is not necessary in my opinion, but it is the world we live in that is raising the cost of everything. It's sucking up all the RAM. And you kind of touched on this, but we've seen PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, they've all had to raise their prices, and they are much larger companies than Valve. And if they're raising their prices because they're struggling to get RAM, because OpenAI, Google, and all have orders for the next couple of years already, feel like they're sucking up everything. Valve is really struggling to get RAM. They are struggling to get any allocations, and I think that is what we're seeing. I know the Steam Deck came in and was instantly like sold out right when these price increases were announced. I imagine that is not only due to people worried it's going to go up more and finally, I guess I have to get in, but it's also just people like, it also went out so fast because the stock was pretty low. And I imagine it's pretty low because they're selling what they can actually make at this. They're selling all their allocated RAM. They just don't have it, I don't think. That's just the reality for electronic consumer goods. And it sucks. Do I like this? No. Is it justified? Again, using that word, I guess technically yes, but I'm not going to say, they should raise it higher. Like, it sucks. Price increases suck for everyone. They suck for the consumer. I'm sure Valve would have loved to keep selling it and probably sell more than they're going to sell now. So it does suck, especially because it is years old tech. And I'm really worried what the PlayStation 6, Project Helix, especially, Nintendo's sorted for a little bit, but like, hopefully I don't have to upgrade my PC anytime soon. I know I just got it last year, so I'm good for at least a while, but like, damn, not looking forward to this.
Yeah. And the whole AI thing is certainly a bubble. Like, it is a bubble for people concerned that it's not. Like, it is, and it will burst at some point. To what degree it bursts is a different question. But and speaking to the point of like me believing or placing more faith in Valve than other companies, I also, if we're trying to be optimistic in an extremely pessimistic moment, I would have confidence, again, because Valve isn't a publicly traded company, that when these AI issues do subside somewhat and the RAM situation rectifies, I would again place more faith in Valve than other companies to rebalance the costs of these things. and to actually bring the price of their things down. And I'm sure that like PlayStation and Xbox would likely do the same, but to lesser extents. I think that they would try and keep the ceiling higher than it was before. Whereas I think that Valve would try, like they did when they first released the OLED model for the Steam Deck, where it just replaced the top model at the same price. I have faith that Valve will try and do the same. Whether that actually comes to fruition, I don't know. But that is maybe the one nugget that we can hold on to at the moment, that Valve isn't, or they don't appear currently, at least at the time of recording, to be the kind of company that would use these price hikes due to, again, external circumstances to arbitrarily raise and maintain that rise in the price of their products.
So can it. Obviously, his question, we've talked about the Steam Deck price increase. They're supposed to be they just released their controller that's selling quite well from what at least anecdotally from what I see. People were quite excited. It was selling out. There's like a back queue for orders. The Steam frame is reportedly out there in the wild with some people. I know I think there was one person who like put up stuff early that they shouldn't have. Whether that's widespread or not remains to be seen. Steam Machine, they said they wanted to release it this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sokanen wants to know what's our new estimate for it price-wise, but I want to know, do we think it still comes this year? Should it come this year? Should it come at all?
I think, I think it does come this year. I think it does. Let me back up. I think it does come, right? Like, I don't think they just sort of cut and run. They could, but I don't think that's going to happen unless things like get real bad, like far worse than they currently are. Because I think that even if it stays as bad as it is right now, my assumption is that Valve would just make, as they obviously would have to, the availability of the Steam Machine in its initial release very, very limited. So I think that they do that, and they do try and get it out this year, stick to that they've restated several times at this point. I don't know if that's a great idea, but I think that they want to do that to get it out there, because the longer that they hold off, the more, I mean, as people in the chat have been saying, like, it's already going to be underpowered compared to various, I mean, obviously PCs on the market, but in specific circumstances and cases, even current gen consoles and obviously next gen consoles, it will be running up against. So the longer that they hold off on releasing it, the worse that problem becomes. Now, whether that is an issue for Valve or not, I don't know, because they're catering to arguably different audiences. Yeah, an estimate on cost. I mean, prior to this, I would have said 700.
It was interesting. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You can finish your word. Where are you thinking now?
Now I right now I can't see it being less than $1,000.
Yeah. We had, I forget who said it, but some journalist or insider said that they were told 2 months ago that the price of the Steam Machine would be more than what the current price of the Steam Deck is. So it's certainly over $1,000 if that person is to be believed, which I think was an Insider Gamer person, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm sitting here and I I don't know a world that makes sense to release the Steam machine anymore. When it was announced and all the fervor and excitement, and we were even, this could be a big player if it comes out at the right price point. Can they hit $500, $600, $7 for this machine? They're saying, oh, it can play 4K 60. Obviously, they're saying us with FSR and upscaling and all this stuff. This is really more, less powerful machine. This is supposed to be a starter PC. I don't see a world where this isn't at least $1,200 probably in today's climate. When I got my PC, which my PC is more powerful than a Steam machine, but that was still $1,400 at the time, right? And that was a year ago. And then RAM exploded. Like my PC right now is probably pushing 2K. Like I just don't know. I just don't see a world where the Steam machine comes out and isn't really expensive. I don't see a world where Project Helix comes out and isn't crazy expensive. Like if the Steam machine is costing this much, Project Helix is supposed to be a premium super. Are we talking 1,500, 2,000 for a Project Helix? And today, a lot can change between now and the end of next year for certainly. But based on today's prices, I would not be surprised if Project Helix was a crazy expensive machine. And it all goes back to expectations. Like, what are you expecting to sell? Of course. But I do think Steam would be pretty upset if they put out a machine and it flops. Like it doesn't, like they wanted to push into the home, the living room. And I just don't see a world where that's possible at this point.
Are you telling me that the Steam machine is going to fail for the second time?
I don't think it should even come out. If it comes out, they should do a revision. They should upgrade the specs and hold off, like maybe release in 2 years or so. But I don't think you should. I don't think it should come out this year. I really don't. I don't think it would be good for Valve. I think it would flop on the market.
I don't disagree with you. I still think I think, like I say, it probably will hit this year. And I agree, like Todd saying, they don't have to release it now. They don't. But to my point and what you said about like doing a revision, the longer they wait, the more outclassed technically it's going to become. And therefore they have to then respec it. And that's going to cost them more money to do. And then by respecing it, they have more up-to-date hardware inside of it. And then that's going to make it cost more again. And that's obviously dependent on what the pricing situation in the market happens with components, of course. That will dictate pricing more than anything. But I'm not going to say Valve kind of just needs to fart it out because they, like you say, they want it to permeate into the living room and be not necessarily like a true competitor to PlayStation and Xbox, but to be that, like say, starter PC, to be an option for people that enjoy their Steam libraries or whatever, but want to enjoy it comfortably on their couch using the new Steam controller. So they either kind of need to do it or get off the pot, in my opinion, because as far as we know, the situation isn't going to get better in the short term. It's only going to get worse. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to do it, like do it now.
Yeah, I'm seeing Luke in the chat says I cannot afford that. It's just too expensive. And I think that's how most of these things are looking at the current moment. I think the PS6, the Project Helix, Steam machine, like I think they're all going to be, based on today's prices, too expensive for most consumers, which is why I also don't think that I think PS5 will be supported for years and years to come. I'm not overly worried about them being like, you can only play this on PS6. I don't think that's really going to happen. Project Helix certainly won't have that. I think Series X will have all the same games. I think Project Helix will just be for enthusiasts and people that want more of a PCS experience. I really just feel bad for Valve because I think this Steam machine could have been something awesome.
Yeah. And I agree. And I think that like a lot of people, when we're talking about whether it's Steam Machine or PlayStation 6 or Helix or whatever, they're talking understandably so, because it's how we were it's what we grew up with. These generations that are playing on consoles still, there is this connotation of generations denoting sizable change, right? And the thing that's always stuck with me is that someone classified this current generation that we're in as the generation of convenience, where it was less about massive technical leaps in fidelity or performance, but it was about reducing load times. It was about cleaner and slicker and faster UIs and home pages and all of these things, and optimizations rather than innovation. And I think that the next generation that we're looking at, whether again it is Steam Machine or PS6 or Helix, as much as they will have little trinkets and interesting things that they're doing to make themselves stand out, I think next generation, instead of convenience, is going to be about just optionality. And I mean, again, as you said, we've talked about it plenty of times, of next generation is going to be a cross-gen. I would almost go as far as to say permanently cross-gen. I don't know that there will ever be PlayStation 6 exclusives if things remain roughly where they are currently. So I think that rather than it being deemed or pitched as a necessary change, that you need to make the jump to get in on the new hottest thing, I think instead next gen from everybody is going to be framed as, you want to play our games, you don't have to worry. You can be exactly where you are right now and get a great experience. But for those of you that truly love it and you want the best experience, you want all the new gizmos and gadgets that this has to offer, for the hardest of the hardcore, we have, like the pro consoles traditionally are pitched as.
Yeah.
I think that that's what next gen is going to be pitched as. It's going to be, you can stay on your PS5 and still get all the great games. That's great. That's fine. But if you want them,
the best experience,
exactly, it's not going to be the crucial experience, the necessary experience. If you want to play the games the way they're meant to be played, that's kind of verbiage is being thrown out the window, in my opinion, because that FOMO isn't going to work if the market stays as it currently is.
Well, it didn't work this gen.
Exactly.
Still people on PS4. The biggest game in the world traditionally every year, Call of Duty, is just now saying, hey, we're not doing PS4, Xbox. It's 6 years into the generation. I do think at a certain point, every game needs to say, hey, no more PS4, Xbox One. But I totally understand. Like, I've long predicted we're going to see a PS6/PS5/PS4 logo on at least a few games at the start of the PS6 generation, because there will be people who are still on somehow 14, 15-year-old hardware.
Yeah, rough out there, man. Hopefully, we can only hope that things resolve to some degree in the short to mid-term. I don't know how likely that is. Again, AI will burst as a bubble, but what the market looks like after that burst happens, how well it rebounds and recovers, we have no idea.
Yep. It'll certainly be interesting to see. I'm fine with my PS5. I'm good with my PC. And my Switch too.
I couldn't agree more. This gen screwed late dad padders.
I don't know what that means.
Adopters, I think is what.
Okay. Well, that will do it for this week's episode. Just a quick PSA. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode. So we will be live reacting to the PlayStation State of Play on Tuesday. We will not have a normal episode on Thursday next week. Instead, and it's up in the air which one of these, we will be live reacting to the Xbox Game Showcase on Sunday. Now, depending how long that goes and how tired we are and whatever, we may do an episode Sunday night to wrap up the entire week of announcements. That's going to be a State of Play, Summer Game Fest, and Xbox. Or we will do that episode on Monday. Maybe not live. We might just record that and then put it out for everyone. So Sunday or Monday, and I won't put it behind the Patreon wall because it is late. It's just going to go out for everyone. And then we'll be back probably Thursday. Normal schedule. But just because of the showcase season, we're going to have a screwy schedule next week, everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Is my brain fried? Because I now looked at Todd's other message and I read it as "damn it, my Misty Ping," and I'm like, that's not mistyping. But in my head, I'm just reading that as Misty Ping.
Yep. Misty, your brain's broken. I think it's time for bed. Sam, you want to let everyone know where they can find you until our next episode? It's our live react, actually.
Anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney, HEANEY.
Hey, you gave a normal ending for once, guys. You can find me at the Muffin Mon. It's 17I own 7A. Follow us at Save the Game Media to stay up to date with all our latest content. Until next time, we will